Why am I here? I'm here by the mighty Ohio River because I want to talk about evangelism. Evangelism is about sharing the good news of Jesus Christ. It's about sharing about our transformed lives in and through Jesus Christ. It's about sharing about our hope and our faith and our belief that we have a loving and a present and an active God. Evangelism is about sharing good news. Evangelism is also about connecting with others. It's about building bridges to those outside of the church, just like this bridge that connects Kentucky with Indiana. In the same way, the church and each one of us needs to connect with those who are desperately seeking answers, who are seeking spiritually, who want to know and hear some good news in their lives. If the bridge is a picture of the church reaching others, then the river is a picture of our culture, the society that we live in, that goes right straight down in the middle of our shared lives. So how do we connect? How do we tell people about this fantastic story of transformation? How do we share about the God that we serve? Well, the first thing we need to understand is that we are not connecting. For some reason, we are not building the bridge to those outside of the church. And I think part of the problem is that we don't understand how culture has changed, how in a sense the river has shifted. Let me give you a picture. In 1998, Hurricane Mitch bore down on the country of Honduras. Many of the structures, many of the buildings, many of the bridges were destroyed. But there was one bridge in one area of Honduras that survived. It survived because it was well built. It was well engineered. It had good foundation. But unfortunately, the storm, the hurricane, redirected the river hundreds of yards to the side of this bridge, making it essentially irrelevant. You know what? People visit that bridge, but it's no longer a bridge. It's a tourist attraction. It's an oddity that people go to and gawk at. I hope that that's not what happens to our churches. We need to learn what it means that we are connecting with a culture that is changing, because we need to understand that we are not. Let me give you an example of this. In the groundbreaking research that Kinnaman and Lyons did on their book, UnChristian, they talked to hundreds of people who were outside of the church, people who were unchurched, and they asked them to describe Christianity. They asked them to describe Christians, just like you, just like me. The words that they used were that Christians and Christianity was hypocritical. It was irrelevant, judgmental, insensitive, homophobic, too involved in politics, out of touch with reality. I don't know about you, but that is sobering to me. To think that what was supposed to be good news for a lot of people is bad news. We are not connecting with those outside of the church. How do those words make you feel? How do you react? I don't know about you, but I want to connect with others. I love how 1 Thessalonians puts it. It says, we not only shared the gospel of God with you, but we also shared our lives. Connection means building relationships with others. It means developing meaningful relationships with those outside the church. It means that the church needs to be the church. We need to connect with others. I know one thing. We can't just sit in our churches and do nothing. We can't do it the way we've always done it. We can't pine for the past, think, oh, it was better in the 1950s. Culture has changed. We're living in a new normal. We're living in a culture that is increasingly becoming more postmodern and post-Christian. We might think that if we did church better, or if we built bigger churches, or if church was more exciting, people would come. But I love how Reggie McNeil puts it. He says, people don't wake up each day thinking, if only there were a good church to attend, I would go. That's not the case. We can't just sit in our churches and wait for people to come through the doors. We need to go out and engage them with the good news. We need to go and make connections, build bridges with those who are desperately seeking answers, who are desperately desiring good news, who want to hear about a God who loves them, a God who is present in their lives, a God who is active. Join us now as we take a journey to talk about how we can engage in reaching others.